Hello, this is Yaro Starik, and welcome to my product launch blueprint presentation to teach you how to make $100,000 or more in 2 weeks by conducting a coordinated online product launch that taps into the power of affiliates. So this presentation is going to teach you my launch method when you have a product that's usually a higher price product. I'd call it a back-end product, usually at least $500 up to $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, even $5,000 or $10,000. It's something you may have seen done already on the internet. It's quite prolific. Anytime you've seen a launch that goes for a number of weeks and has a series of videos released over time, perhaps with some webinars, some other resources like that leading up to a big opening and then a program closing, that's what's called an online product launch. So I'm going to teach you how to do this, and I'm going to teach you the fundamentals of why it works, plus the practical aspects of how you can implement it. I'm also going to teach you my unique twist on this methodology because I've always had blogging as part of what I do, and a blog plays a part in my launches as well. You don't have to obviously use a blog as part of a launch. It's something you can do if you want. Whatever the case, this methodology can be used for launching any product in any market. It's very effective, very powerful, and by the end of this presentation, you will know why that is. You'll be able to do it yourself, and you can walk away and start planning your own product launch if you're up to that stage. So this is a presentation going to my community members, so you have access to that and can ask me for any feedback on how to do a launch after you've gone through this presentation. Just do so in the community. So let's dive in. Okay, step one is the affiliate recruitment phase. This is actually something that begins 6 months at least in advance. This is something that's really important you prepare for, because you basically need to get people ready way before you're actually doing the launch, especially if you're going to tap into affiliates who are people who do affiliate promotions on a regular basis, because they have a schedule, they have a calendar. So you have to get yourself onto that schedule, onto that calendar. And to do that, you need to give them lots of advance warning. So I do recommend you start this process at least 6 months before you go into your actual launch. At this point, I also recommend you hire an affiliate manager. This is a person who will act as kind of like an affiliate assistant. They coordinate with your affiliates. They're the first person to go to because they can help answer the affiliates' questions, deliver affiliate resources. They also email the affiliates to make sure they're promoting for you. And most importantly, at this step one phase, the affiliate manager can help you to recruit more affiliates to get ready for your launch. And the more affiliates you have, the more traffic you'll have, the bigger your email list will grow, and the more sales you'll make during the launch, especially if you can get some really powerful affiliates. Now, at this stage, I recommend you create what I call an affiliate portal page. So I just like to show you exactly what that is so you understand. So an affiliate portal page is basically what you're looking at here. This is an example from a recent launch I did for my Blogmaster flagship course. This is something that only my affiliates actually saw, and I sent it out to them individually. And my affiliate manager, who at the time was Narrowly, she sent this out to people when we were recruiting new affiliates. So I'd send this out to my friends who already had as potential affiliates, all the colleagues, all the people I've met over the years, any people I've helped, and I sent this page out to them. And it's a pretty important page because it outlines all the details of your launch. It's the biggest piece of content you produce at this phase, so 6 months before your launch. So it's pretty straightforward. It's a short video, 5 minutes, that just sort of introduces people to what you're doing, makes it personal. The very important sign up so they can create an affiliate account if they don't have one. You talk about why they should support the launch, so what's in it for them. Some frequently asked questions like how much money they'll make in commissions, how are sales tracked, how do they get paid. So everything's about the affiliates. Then you've got your launch calendar. This is pretty important because it outlines the dates of the key releases of information you're going to do. I also recommend you tell people what exactly the product is, since they need to know what they're going to be promoting. And include the resources. So as you're going to see as I continue through this presentation, there's some key resources you need to give affiliates that you will be using throughout the launch. So you're going to go through a period of a couple of weeks, and during those weeks you're going to give people some powerful resources, usually in the form of videos, but it might be things like free reports and downloadable checklists and handouts and case studies. So you can give your affiliates the chance to preview these things on this page. Then you've got the all-important leaderboard prizes. So this is where you're telling the affiliates the prizes they're going to win if they make the top 5 or top 10 or top 20 in the affiliate competition, which is usually based on the number of sales affiliates make. So the more sales, the higher their ranking. This is important because during the launch phase, you'll be telling the affiliates the standings, which will make them competitive. They'll push harder because they want to beat their friends and get the top prize in the affiliate competition. So you get them excited with that page here, this section in the affiliate portal page. You've got how to do well. So this is just some basic instructions on how to actually promote well. I'll just refresh because that hasn't loaded properly. Oh, looks like my style sheet's off a little bit, but that was working fine during the launch. Just some dot points of how they can actually succeed and make lots of money, plus some basic rules, and then one more chance to sign up. So pretty basic set of tools, just an intro video, why support the launch, frequently asked questions, the launch calendar, what's in the product itself, what are the launch materials, the leaderboard prize, some advice to do well with some rules, and another sign up box. So that's the portal to send all potential affiliates to get them involved. So once you have done that, you've hired an affiliate manager and you've got in touch with your closest friends who you know will be very much likely to promote the launch. Over the next few months, your job is just one thing. You're recruiting new affiliates. So in my case, I tell my affiliate manager, I want you to go out there and find potentially good affiliates for this product launch by doing some simple things. For example, going to other blogs and finding bloggers who have the audience that you want to reach. I strongly recommend you go into iTunes and check the list of top podcasts in your industry, because each of the people who run the podcast could be a potential affiliate, plus all the people that are interviewed on podcasts. For example, in my industry, there's a podcast by John Lee Dumas. He's just one of many. He's interviewed 1,000 plus entrepreneurs, all of which could be potential affiliates, or at least a good handful of them could be potential affiliates for my product launch. So I have my affiliate manager get in touch with them. You can do things like also searching YouTube to find the best people in YouTube for your type of product, your industry. Plus, you've got all the other different tools for researching, just good old-fashioned Google. You can join Facebook groups. You can just ask your current affiliates if they have anyone they recommend you get in touch with. Lots of ways, and that's why you need this 6 months. You need to get out there and start recruiting. However, it's really important that you already have in place some relationships. At this point, you really should be also saying, I already know I've got these 10, 20, 30, 40 really important affiliates lined up because I've been cultivating relationships with them over time. So your launch really begins potentially years in advance when you start networking and building relationships and friendships within your marketplace. Okay, moving on to step 2, the content preparation phase. So at this phase, we're creating all the materials you're going to give to people during the launch. And you want to have this all done before you go into the launch, because during the actual launch, you need to have the time to write the emails, to be in touch with affiliates, to reply to comments on the resources. You don't want to be creating the resources. You want to be sending out the resources and then reacting and doing marketing. So at this phase, you're going to create the 4 launch videos, which are 3 content videos plus 1 sales video. Any other additional resources like a report or a checklist or handouts or an infographic, all those sorts of things you might give people through the launch materials as additional resources. You need to create a launch portal. So I'm going to show you that now on another example. This is the Video One launch portal page. So it's fairly basic. It's just a place where you release the 4 videos and give people the resources. So at the top, you'll see people will work their way through the 4 videos, and then there's the sales page video. There'll be the actual video they get, and there'll be resources. Like I have a download here of a report, and underneath that, some social media sharing buttons, and then a section to leave comments. This is a very common design for a launch portal. It's something that's clean, clear. Here's a main resource. Here's a few tools to interact with it, and that's it. That's all you're giving people. You'll also need some basic things like having a landing page so people can actually opt in. You need to have an early notice sign up page. Now, an early notice sign up page is basically the page that you'll have in place leading up to the point where your product goes on sale. So your product's not on sale during the pre-launch and the build-up phase, but people might be going to that page looking to buy it. So that's where you need to have an early notice sign-up list. So wherever you're planning on selling your product from, before it's available, put a page there that says, this product's coming soon, to find out exactly when it's available and be the first person to know about it so you can join, enter your name and email into this box. And that creates your early notification email list, which is the list that's very much the people who are most likely to buy from you. This is an indication of how well your launch is going, is how many people are on this early notification sign up page. Plus, you'll probably get a handful of sales, a good chunk of sales from this list too, when you mail them a day or two early to let them know the product's gone live. You do need several landing pages. One landing page for each video I recommend, because your affiliates are going to want to send traffic to each of the 4 videos or each of the 3 content videos at least. And you want to make sure when they do that, you're capturing all those people onto your email list. So you need a landing page for each of the launch videos, or at least the first 3 need one. Then, of course, you need the sales page itself. That could be an individual sales page of text, or as a very basic sales page, you need a video, which can be the 4th video in your launch series. So video 1, 2, and 3 are content videos, which I'll explain what's in them in a moment. The 4th video is your sales video, which is on your sales page. You also need some kind of checkout and way to deliver the product that people have just purchased. I'm not going to go into detail on how to do that in this presentation. This is just about coordinating and doing a launch. But obviously you'll need to have the ability to take money, the ability to run a membership area where people can download the product, and so on. You'll need a proper information publishing business. Okay, so the next 3 slides, I'm going to teach you the 3 launch videos. Actually, the 4 slides, the 4 launch videos, but it's 3 launch videos plus 1 sales video. So the first video, this is the first video you send to people when the launch starts. So in this video, it's an important video because it's really the one that gets the most attention. So in this video, you're going to explain who your training is right for and who is it's wrong for. You're also going to tell your own story. So most cases when you're going to sell a teaching product or some sort of information product, your story somehow relates to what you're teaching. It's probably how you went through a process to solve a problem in your own life and then solved it, then helped other people, and then decided to create this product to even help more people. So that's your story, that's your hero's journey. So this video is going to contain that. It's very important you state the problem again in this video. In fact, I often recommend you start the video by just explaining what the problem is. So if you're teaching people how to lose weight with a certain system that you have developed, at the beginning you would just talk about how bad it is to be overweight. All the conditions that you might have, the inability to exercise, to walk up a set of stairs, to play with your kids, the potential for getting diabetes, for dying young, all the bad things that could happen, and also why people have the problem. You know, it's all the processed foods that we eat. It's like a minefield out there when it comes to staying healthy, because it's just really difficult to know how to eat, how to exercise, and so on. So you're introducing that, but then you're also tying that into the solution you came up with, which was born from your hero's journey, your story. I recommend you include some kind of statistics in this video if you can. In particular, why you're doing this training now. For example, you might have a unique opportunity that's only available because a certain bunch of variables have come together. For example, you might be teaching something to do with social media, and you can say that it's a unique time in the history of the internet because we have mobile phones with all these apps, and you can reach people in their pockets. You know, it's a unique time. You can quote some statistics on the number of mobile phones on the planet, a number of people who've got Instagram, for example, if you're teaching Instagram, and so on. Doesn't have to be about technology, of course. You might be teaching some unique science to do with, treating depression that's just come about, some new way of eating that can actually help people treat depression, maybe, and you can show the science and the research behind that. Then as you progress towards the end of the video, you start talking about how your life can change for the better after the problem is solved. So you're talking about the benefits, the positive outcomes, the positive life changes once the person has gone through and solved this problem. Bear in mind, you're not actually teaching them how to solve the problem yet. All of this is just getting them ready, getting them excited, because you're demonstrating that you understand their problem and you've also had their problem and you've gone through and found a solution, and it's a unique solution because of the current situation. And because you've solved this problem and you've seen other people solve this problem using your method, this is how amazing life can be now that the problem is solved. So that's in a nutshell everything in the launch video. You end the first launch video by opening a loop for a case study, which is what the second video is going to have. This is a very brief section at the end of the video. In the first video, you're just getting people excited. If you've ever watched TV shows like Lost, where they always open up some sort of unsolved mystery or some sort of angle of curiosity, that's what you're going to do at the end of this video to get them hooked for the next video, the second video in your launch phase, which is video 2. This video is a case study or several case studies. So it's no longer about you, it's about somebody you've helped, or if you don't have anyone you've helped, some example from the world, a person who's solved the problem. But really at this stage, if you're doing a big product launch, you really should have your own case study, and you really want to have a good, solid case study, a before and after, so you can show that it's not just you that your method works, it works for anybody. The average Joe on the street can do what you're teaching, and they'll get a positive result too. So introduce the case study, and you want this person ideally to explain in their own words in the video, so maybe interview them, and talk about what their life was like before when they had the problem. Explain how they suffered, how they tried to solve the problem and it failed. They kept trying new things, new diets. If they were trying to lose weight, they kept trying new diets, whatever it was, the paleo diet, the slow carb diet, the no dairy diet, whatever it is. They just tried all these diets and it just nothing worked. And then they met you, and then they followed your training and they got coaching from you, whatever it was, and it started to work. Your solution actually started to be effective for them. They talk about how they implemented it, how they changed what they eat and how they set up a meal plan and how their life started to turning more positive. And then they start talking about the specifics, how they started to lose the weight and they felt more attractive and they got more dates, or they started to be able to walk up the set of stairs without huffing and puffing. Whatever it is, all these positive things started to happen. You just want the person to naturally talk about this, but you need to guide them through the process. You need to go from the beginning. It's almost like a little mini life story of their problem and how you help them solve it. But you want them to do it in their own words, because that's what makes a case study powerful. It's an example of an everyday person using your system. At the end of this video, you're again opening up a loop for the third video. This is where you talk about the video that's going to teach them a step-by-step guide for them to do it. So you're actually going to introduce them to the idea that in the third video, you're going to learn how to do the process. You could become the next case study, just like this person I just told you about. In the next video, I'll explain what you need to do. So moving on to video 3 now. So in video 3, you introduce the name of your system. You may have mentioned it earlier on. It's really good if you have some sort of powerful name for the process or the methodology or the science or the techniques or the package that you offer. Something special that makes it sound different, that shows that it is different from everything else out there. Then what you're going to do is go through an overview of some steps they can take. Now, you need to tie this into everything you've done to this point. So obviously, you're helping them solve the problem you've already highlighted. You've talked about the people who've done it previously in their own life. Now you're going to say to them, you just need to do these few things. Now, what's important here is you give them at least one action to take that delivers an immediate result. You can't really solve their entire problem in one video or even in 3 videos necessarily. And this is meant to be an introductory how-to presentation. It's not going deep. It's just teach them a couple of steps, something they can do at the end of the video, and it'll take them one step further forward. One of the examples I like to give people is from my own business. When I originally taught people how to make money from blogging, one of the very first steps I would teach them how to do is go buy a domain name and go get web hosting and then set up WordPress. 3 steps, and at the end of those 3 steps, they have a blog. And that feeling of getting their blog set up with a domain name and hosting, it's actually a big achievement, especially for someone brand new to the world of blogging. So that's a real result I can give them as a result of taking my free training. So that's a first step that's realistic, and it makes them excited, but it also attaches that outcome to me as the teacher and coach. So you might want to give them one change. For example, maybe you're helping people deal with acne, bad skin, or maybe some sort of rash or something like that. You give them one change to their skincare regime, like tell them to do one thing at night, use one product, or stop doing one thing, or change one item of food they eat. Stop eating sugar, and you will instantly notice that your weight goes down within a week. I promise you. That's all you have to do. Don't eat sugar. At the end of 7 days, you will notice a difference. And that's the kind of basic how-to step you give them in video 3. But you also hint that this is just the start of the journey. And if they want to really solve this problem long term, there's deeper levels, there's more knowledge, there's more education, there's more action steps they have to take. And you're the coach, you're the person to help them do it. You want to help them do it. That's why you're there. You love what you do. And what you're going to then say at the end of this video, video 3, is that in the next video, I'm going to tell you exactly what your next step should be. So in video 4, the final video, this is a sales video. This is the video that sells the product you are offering. So it's usually a fairly long video, somewhere between minimum 10 minutes all the way up to an hour. It kind of goes through everything again. So you go through the whole story, your own life story, and how you had the problem and then you solved it. But you also go into the basics, like what are the features of the product you're selling? So what are the workshops or the modules? Or if you're selling a live class, what are the, what are they going to do? They're going to meet you in person? Are they going to attend a conference? Are they going to do some sort of exercise plan? Whatever it is, the features and the benefits and how the tangible aspects of the product. You're also going to go through the bonuses, the testimonials. You're going to have a guarantee and plenty of buy buttons. Throughout the video, you're going to keep saying, if you want this, you're ready, go buy now. And you're going to have lots of those kinds of calls to action throughout the video. Now, this is a huge video in the sense of all the psychology you need to put in it. I can't go through it all now because it would take an entire presentation. But since you are a community member, you have access to my How to Write a Sales Page training video. So a sales page or a sales video contains the same elements. Doesn't really matter whether you say it in video or you write it in text. So if you're new to doing videos, sales videos or sales pages, go into the community, look for that video training. And there's also a handout to go with it where I've covered the 16 points. Ideally, you cover them all in your sales video or your sales page. You might not be ready to cover them all, but try and cover as many as you can. And that's what you put into this video or into that sales page. You have access to that already. Okay, so that's the 4 videos done and the first 2 steps done. So you've got all the content prepared and your affiliates are recruited. You're ready to go. So now we're moving on to what I call step 3, the pre-launch. So we're not quite in launch phase yet, which begins with the pre-launch. We're in the couple of weeks before the actual beginning of the launch phase. So if a launch happens in 2 weeks, this is the 2 weeks before those 2 weeks begin. At this point, you're getting affiliates ready. So making sure that they know in 1 week, in 2 days, in 1 day, we're about to start. I would recommend emailing them several times and just peppering them with some updates, maybe showing them some of the resources and getting them excited about the commissions they could earn, the affiliate prizes, and so on. For your actual potential customers, you're also running a series of content. I call this content the Countdown to Launch series. So I recommend you just start peppering people with some articles. I actually use blog posts or emails or both. I just do some simple things. I try to pre-qualify people at this stage to make sure I get the right people interested, but also keep the wrong people away. So for example, if you're trying to go after maybe not absolute beginners, you want more advanced people in your market, maybe people who have more money. Maybe you're selling a $5,000 home study program or elite coaching program, but it's designed for people who already have good money. They might, they're already running a business that makes $100,000 a year. You need to say, this is not for beginners. If you don't have a business yet, this is not for you. But if you have a business and you want to take it to the next level, then get ready because I have some exciting stuff coming for you. So it's that kind of information. I recommend you also share some clips from those videos you just worked hard to create in the previous months. So I took little small clips of between 1 minute and 5 minutes out of my launch videos and started releasing them in YouTube and sending them through my email list just to get people aware that there's some video content coming. I also recommend at this point you start directing people to that early notice sign up so that you start building that list. So you might end every email saying, if you're already interested in this, you want to make sure you don't miss out, go and sign up at this page to sign up for my early notice list. And that will start building an anticipation list. Okay, step 4, now things start to get busy. We're going into pre-launch. So this is the first week. In the first week, you're in launch mode. Everything's crazy. You're releasing the first 3 videos. So if you open on Monday, video 1 goes out on Monday, then video 2 goes out on Wednesday, video 3 goes out on Friday. Each video has resources. You're sending the videos to your email list. You're telling your affiliates to promote each video individually. So there's tons of traffic going to those videos. All your affiliates are sending traffic to landing pages, which means you're getting people signing up to your email list. Give the affiliates templates, because some affiliates won't be writing their own emails because maybe they don't have time, maybe they're lazy. But if you give them some templates, they'll use the template, copy and paste, and put in their own information where they need to. At this point, it's also important to start talking about the standings. Obviously, you won't have standings for sales because the product hasn't opened yet, but you will have standings for the number of people opting in. So you know which affiliate has sent the most leads, the most opt-ins to your email list. So you can give them the top 5 or top 10. You may even have special standalone prizes just for the opt-ins. It's important at this stage that your affiliate manager is working like crazy, because you might need to get in touch and just tell the affiliate, hey, we're started. Go, send out your emails. Now's your time. Let me know if you need any help. Here's your link. Here's your affiliate login to the affiliate area. All those things you need to get out there to get the affiliates going and promoting. And at this point, it's also important to start monitoring how things are working. Are you getting good opt-in growth? Are comments happening in the content portal to those videos? You'll probably start getting emails sent from people saying, hey, I'm interested in your product. I'm thinking of doing this, and they're asking for feedback. So it's a great opportunity to further engage with people who are very likely to become your potential customers when you move on to step 5, the launch phase. So after the pre-launch week, the second week, you release video 4. This is the sales video, and you also open the cart. You now turn the cart open so people can buy your product. Now, at this stage, in the first day, I recommend you offer a fast action bonus for people who buy your product in the first 24 hours. Often the people will be sitting on the fence waiting until the end when the deadline starts to hit, but you can have a little deadline right at the beginning by saying you only get this bonus if you join in the first 24 hours. So you get a nice little rush of new customers day 1. Throughout the week, in the middle of the week, you might do a launch webinar. Now, there's a couple of types of webinars you can do. You can do a webinar to everyone. So you have all your potential customers join the webinar, and you have all the affiliates promote the webinar. That's what I did for my last launch. I just did one big webinar, which everyone promoted to. I had 1,300 people on the live webinar, and it was a really busy webinar, but it was great. Got a lot of customers from it. If you have some affiliates who want individual webinars, what they might ask you to do is just do a presentation for their people. Now that can work really well because the affiliate will promote their personal webinar multiple times to their email list. So you get a ton of new subscribers, and you'll get a very targeted group of people on that webinar. Only problem with it, it's exhausting. You might have to do 5 or 6 webinars in 1 week for different affiliates, even 10 or 20 if you're really pushing it, because you want to do one webinar for each of your top affiliates. And if you have maybe 10 affiliates, top affiliates, and each one wants a private webinar, that's 10 webinars you have to organize and present. So it's a lot of work, but it can turn out to be a lot of money. At this point, you're also sending out the affiliate standings every few days as they change. This is important because it gets the affiliates excited about beating each other, getting the prizes, and they start to push really hard, especially the affiliates who've started to make some sales. Nothing gets people excited about promoting harder than actually making sales. So your affiliate system will send them emails every time they make a sale. That's important because they'll get notified they made money, then they'll go and promote again and again and again. It's also important that you're always updating everybody on everything. So, keep everyone going with regular emails. You're probably sending at least one email a day to affiliates and one email a day to your prospects. Plus, you're monitoring your customers coming into the system. This is the point where often something goes wrong. Technology fails. You might have a problem with your shopping cart. You might have a problem with your webinar software. You might have a problem with your affiliate system. Often it's because there's just so much happening at once that these little things start to break down. Just don't let that get to you. It's a bit stressful, but just remember it's something that we all deal with, and it's not like this is not make or break. It's, you will have a chance to do more than one launch. Most of the time you can just fix it quickly. Obviously, have your tech person standing by. If you're about to do a launch, tell your tech person, I'm doing a launch, so I need you to be really ready to jump on any problems, because the chances are we're going to have an unusually high amount of traffic hitting our pages. And of course, when you hit that last 24 hours before you close the door on your program, or your product is taken off the market, or whatever it is you're changing, maybe the price is going to go up or you're going to remove some bonuses, I recommend closing down. You always get the most sales if your product is actually going to close down. A lot of people will launch a flagship course, for example, once a year. So open it and then close it. And then don't do it again until next year. And that creates a really solid deadline that people will really push for. And you might ask me, why do that instead of keeping your program open throughout the entire year? Often you'll make more sales having a concentrated 2-week launch period than having it open for the entire year, because it's the pressure, it's the deadline. And that's why you send a lot of emails, both to your affiliates and to your potential customers in this last 24 hours. Now, what's really interesting is I can basically promise you as a guarantee, in the final day, you will make a bare minimum 50% more sales than whatever you have up to that point. So if you've made 100 sales up to the end of your launch, in that last 24 hours, you'll make 50 more. In every launch I've done at least 50%, sometimes 100%. So I've doubled my sales in the last day. In my last launch, I tripled the amount I had. So I went in there with about 50 sales and I came out with 150 in the last 24 hours. So pretty incredible. And it's a very exciting time. You'll see lots of money flowing into your account, assuming you have a good product, you have good affiliates, and you do a great launch. And these videos will make the difference. It's these content videos that gets everyone excited about what you have for sale. Okay, there you have it. The 5 steps for a product launch, including a breakdown also of the 4 videos to release during the launch process. The pre-launch week and launch week are the most important weeks, but it's all the preparation you do in the previous weeks and months to get the affiliates on board, to set up your technology, to prepare your content, get all your ducks in a row, as the saying goes, that makes those 2 weeks really, really effective at selling a lot of your product. Now, this is an advanced technique. If you don't have a flagship course, you don't have some sort of established online business with your own email list, your own products, your own audience, this is probably a bit advanced for you. You want to work your way up to doing a big launch. However, if you are the kind of person who already has a lot of affiliate relationships in place, this is a great way to launch a new business. Because if you can get a lot of affiliates to promote for you and you have a solid product ready to go, you can instantly grow an email list of 5, 10, 15, 20, 30,000 people just from one launch. It's literally a business creation machine, not just a product launch machine. So it is amazingly powerful, but it's not for beginners. There's a lot you need to do right, and it takes a bit of work. Let me tell you, I've done over 10 of these now, and it's really quite a big effort, but the rewards certainly make it worthwhile. It does grow your business or potentially launches a new business. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up there. If you do want to go through any of these individual elements, get some help, ask some questions, perhaps figure out how to apply a certain step to your situation, your business, you have the option to get help on the live coaching webinars with me, or inside the community, the forum community. You can ask for help there, and myself or any of the other members who have more experience will offer advice on how to do this kind of launch process. Bear in mind, this can be changed. It doesn't have to be rigid. You can mix things up. The content doesn't have to be exactly as I presented it here, but I've given you a great formula, a blueprint to follow if you ever do a launch process for one of your products. Okay, that's it for me. My name is Yaro Starak. I'll catch you again on another training video. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.